She loved him, until the empire was hers. Part 1. The Invitation to Zero. Look around a room full of powerful people. Who is the absolute weakest person there? It is not the one who is physically smallest, or the one with the least money. It is the one who believes they have no weaknesses. It is the one who has mastered everyone else, but has never been mastered themselves. Today, we decode how a woman who owned nothing managed to destroy a man who owned an empire. And how your own confidence is often the weapon that will execute you. Let us examine a social dynamic in the gilded cage of Mumbai's ultra-luxury financial sector. Vikram was not a businessman, he was a corporate warlord, an apex predator of acquisition. His name was whispered with terror from Dubai to Singapore. He had no friends, only employees, allies of convenience, or targets for destruction. Vikram's heart was not a muscle, it was a calculations vault. Fortified by a total lack of empathy. His single defining rule was, no points of failure. This made him untouchable, until he met Anya. Anya did not approach Vikram, she permitted Vikram to observe her. She was a ghost in the high-stakes consulting world, present only in the shadows of multi-billion-dollar mergers. She possessed a terrifying serenity that bypassed Vikram's predatory instinct. While other women aggressively sought his validated attention, Anya offered a vacuum, she sought nothing. This calculated absence of need was the perfect social bait for an alpha whose life was defined by conquering resistance. Intrigued, Vikram invited her to the final negotiating table of his career's biggest merger. An acquisition so massive it would solidify his empire forever. He intended to show her his power. He did not know he was inviting his own executioner. At the pinnacle of the negotiation, facing a wall of resistant billionaires, Vikram performed his signature move, absolute, crushing silence. The room suffused with terror. Just as the opposition began to crack, Vikram felt a cold, alien sensation, a slight, phantom tremble in his own hand. For the first time in his life, he wasn't just observing fear, he was hosting it. Then, a soft hand, light as a feather, covered his own. Anya, without speaking a single syllable, simply looked into his eyes with a profound, terrifying emptiness. The tremble stopped. The opposition, seeing Vikram's unbroken gaze and Anya's presence, surrendered completely, mistakenly believing they had witnessed an unbreakable alliance. Vikram had won his greatest victory. But he had lost something far more critical, his invincible singularity. Why did this dynamic take root? This is the core mechanism of the Siren's Illusion. An apex predator like Vikram relies entirely on emotional suppression as a primary defense system. He is conditioned to thrive on conflict. When Anya presented him with absolute peace instead of resistance, she bypassed his fight or flight response. His brain didn't categorize her as a threat, but as a resource, a sanctuary from the unending war of his own mind. By relieving his internal tension in that moment of crisis, she forged an artificial, powerful, point of need. Law 4 of the 48 Laws of Power teaches us to always say less than necessary. Anya applied a darker corollary to this law. Always provide less emotional reaction than expected. The moment Vikram accepted Anya's relief of his internal pressure, he admitted vulnerability. If you allow someone to remove your internal stress, you hand them the exact blueprints to create it. Master your own calm, or someone will weaponize your need for it. Part 2. The Sanctum of Shadows. How do you hunt a man who suspects everyone? You don't attack his fortress. You become the only person he doesn't feel the need to defend against. True power isn't taken by force. It is surrendered in the moments when the predator finally thinks he is safe. Today, we look at the sanctuary trap. The moment the apex predator stops watching his back because he believes he has found a soul he can finally trust. Following the massive merger victory, Vikram's world changed. For the first time, his high-floor penthouse in Mumbai didn't feel like a command center, it felt like a void. Anya's presence during the negotiation had created a psychological anchor. Vikram, a man who viewed human connection as a liability, found himself compulsively seeking the silence she provided. He invited her into his private sanctum, a place where no board member, no bodyguard, and no lover had ever truly entered. Anya moved through his world like a shadow that didn't cast a chill. She didn't ask about his bank accounts, his enemies, or his next move. Instead, She mastered the art of reflective listening. When Vikram spoke of his triumphs, she didn't flatter him, she simply understood the cost of them. She created an environment of total non-judgment. In the cold, ruthless world of global finance, Vikram was used to everyone wanting a piece of his empire. Anya seemed to want nothing but his presence. Slowly, the man who built his life on Law 15, crush your enemy totally, began to violate his own most sacred rule. He began to reveal his fatigue. He shared the stories of the scars he earned while climbing the mountain. Believing he was bonding, he didn't realize he was actually providing Anya with a map of his nervous system. One night, over a glass of vintage wine overlooking the Arabian Sea, Vikram did the unthinkable. He showed Anya his dead man's key, a highly encrypted digital ledger that held the leverage he used to control the city's most corrupt politicians. It was his ultimate insurance policy, the one thing that kept the wolves at bay. He shared it not out of necessity, but out of a desperate, hidden need to be known by someone. As he explained the encryption, Anya's eyes remained soft, reflecting only warmth, but if Vikram had looked closer, he would have seen the cold, predatory calculation behind her pupils. She wasn't listening to his story, she was memorizing the keystrokes of his soul. This is the sanctuary trap. In psychology, even the most hardened personalities suffer from isolation fatigue. The more power you have, the more paranoid and lonely you become. Anya utilized a technique called vulnerability mirroring. By appearing vulnerable and peaceful herself, she triggered a biological response in Vikram to reciprocate. His amygdala, usually on high alert for threats, was flooded with oxytocin. He confused the relief of loneliness with security. He didn't see a spy, he saw a mirror that made him look like a hero instead of a monster. Law 18 of the 48 Laws of Power warns, do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. Vikram ignored the second half of that truth. When you finally let someone into your fortress, they don't need to break the walls, they just need to find the lever for the gate. The person who listens to your pain with the most empathy is often the one best equipped to use it against you. Never confuse a listening ear with a loyal heart. Part 3. The Ghost in the Machine. How do you paralyze a giant? You don't strike his limbs, you infect his perception. The most dangerous enemies don't come with a sword, they come with a smile that makes you feel understood. Today, we reveal the isolation protocol, the psychological method of cutting a leader off from his advisors until the only voice he hears is the one designed to destroy him. In the weeks following the disclosure of the dead man's key, Anya began a subtle, surgical operation of social pruning. She didn't tell Vikram who to trust, she simply planted seeds of doubt about the motives of his inner circle. Using the secrets he had shared in his moments of weakness, she orchestrated controlled accidents. A loyal CFO's minor oversight was framed as a deliberate betrayal. A longtime bodyguard's silence was reinterpreted as a hidden alliance with a rival. Anya didn't raise her voice, she used the invisible whisper. She would say, Vikram, it's strange how your CFO bought that villa just as the merger closed. He deserves it, of course, but the timing. She wasn't accusing, she was observing. Vikram's paranoia, the natural byproduct of a life of ruthlessness, took the bait. One by one, he began to fire his most loyal lieutenants, replacing them with empty placeholders or, more often, consulting Anya for every decision. He was becoming a king without a court, sitting on a throne of glass. His empire in Mumbai was still growing, but its foundation was now entirely dependent on Anya's insights. He felt more powerful than ever, not realizing that his eyes and ears were being replaced by her filters. He was the machine, she was the ghost controlling the software. The turning point came during a private gala in London. A rival billionaire attempted to warn Vikram about Anya's mysterious background. Usually, Vikram would have analyzed the information with cold logic. But Anya had already preempted the strike. She had confessed a fake, tragic past to Vikram weeks earlier, positioning herself as a victim of that very billionaire. When the warning came, Vikram didn't see a threat to his safety, he saw an attack on his sanctuary. In a fit of protective rage, he publicly humiliated the rival and severed all ties. In that moment, Anya realized the hunt was nearly over. He wasn't just in love, he was addicted to the version of himself that she reflected back to him. He had chosen the poison over the medicine. This is cognitive tunneling. When a person is under high stress, they lose the ability to see the big picture and focus entirely on a single source of relief. Anya became Vikram's emotional monopolist. In psychology, this is a form of coercive control where the victim is systematically isolated from all external reality checks. By discrediting his allies, Anya made herself the only trusted source. Vikram's brain, seeking to reduce the discomfort of paranoia, leaned harder into the one person who made him feel safe. He was no longer thinking with his prefrontal cortex, he was reacting from a place of primal dependence. Law 42 of the 48 Laws of Power states, "Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter." Anya reversed this. Isolate the shepherd, and he becomes the sheep. When you find yourself doubting everyone except one person, you are not being protected, you are being packaged. Never let your emotional comfort dictate your strategic alliances. The person who encourages you to cut ties with your loyal wolves is usually the one preparing to let the sheep slaughter begin. Part 4. The Surrender of the Keys. What is the ultimate price of peace? For a man who has fought his whole life, the answer is everything. The most brilliant strategists don't lose their empires in battle. They give them away to the person who promises to protect their soul. Today, we witness the surrender protocol, the moment the apex predator hands over his weapons, believing he is finally home. By now, Vikram's isolation was total. His board of directors in Mumbai was paralyzed. His advisors were gone, and his global rivals were terrified of his unpredictable behavior. But inside his penthouse, there was only serenity. Anya had become his external brain. He no longer checked the markets or vetted the contracts, he simply asked Anya, "What do you feel about this?" He had traded his logic for her intuition. To celebrate their anniversary, Vikram decided to consolidate his legacy. He was tired of the constant vigilance required to maintain the dead man's key, that digital ledger of blackmail and leverage. He felt that as long as he held the burden of power alone, he could never be truly happy with Anya. In a moment of profound emotional intoxication, he sat Anya down in his private vault. He didn't just show her the ledger this time, he initiated a dual authorization transfer. He gave her administrative access to his entire shadow empire, believing that sharing the burden of his secrets was the ultimate act of love. He thought he was creating a co-regency. He didn't realize he was signing his own abdication papers. Now, he whispered, "We are truly one." Anya smiled, a look of divine devotion on her face, while her thumb silently memorized the haptic feedback of the vault's final override. The next morning, Vikram woke up to a strange, heavy silence. Anya was gone, but her scent still lingered on the silk sheets. He wasn't worried, he assumed she was simply arranging a surprise. He walked to his vault to begin the day's operations. The biometric scanner turned red. Access denied. He tried his secondary override. Invalid credentials. Panic, cold and sharp, finally pierced through his oxytocin-induced haze. He checked his private bank accounts. They were empty. He checked the dead man's key. The ledger was not only gone, but the server had been wiped clean. Then, a single physical envelope on his desk caught his eye. Inside was not a goodbye note, but a legal notice of a hostile takeover. Anya hadn't just taken his money, she had used his own leverage to buy his board of directors overnight. This is the sunk cost of trust. In behavioral psychology, once a person invests a significant amount of emotional energy into someone, they become blind to red flags to avoid the pain of admitting they were wrong. Vikram's brain had outsourced its survival instincts to Anya. By sharing the dead man's key, he hit a point of no return. His need for emotional intimacy overrode his biological need for territorial defense. Anya didn't steal the empire. She waited for Vikram to find the burden of his own power so heavy that he would beg her to take the keys. Law 2 of the 48 Laws of Power warns, never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Vikram made the fatal error of believing that love exempts you from the laws of nature. In the human hierarchy, the moment you make yourself replaceable, you are already gone. Never share the keys to the kingdom. with someone whose only qualification is that they make you feel good. True power is solitary. The moment you share it to lighten the load, you have already lost the strength to carry it. Part 5. The Architect of Ashes. What is worse than losing everything you own? It is the realization that you were the one who handed over the matches to burn your own house down. Revenge is a dish best served cold, but betrayal is a fire that starts in the heart and ends in the ruins of an empire. Today, we witness the aftermath protocol, the moment the hunter realizes he has become the trophy on someone else's wall. Standing in the silence of his empty vault, Vikram felt a sensation he hadn't experienced since childhood: absolute, paralyzing powerlessness. He rushed to his office, his sanctuary in the sky, only to find two stone-faced security guards blocking the door. These were men he had hired, men he had trained to be ruthless. Now, they looked at him as if he were a trespassing ghost. "The new CEO has revoked your clearance, Mr. Vikram," one said, his voice devoid of its usual tremor of fear. Vikram bypassed them, fueled by a final flare of his old predatory rage, and stormed into the boardroom. The sight inside stopped his breath. Anya was sitting in his obsidian chair, at the head of the table. She wasn't wearing the soft, flowing silks he associated with their peaceful nights. She was dressed in a razor-sharp, midnight blue suit, her hair pulled back with military precision. Around the table sat his board of directors, the men Anya had convinced him to keep. The empty placeholders. They weren't looking at him with sympathy. They were looking at Anya with the same terrifying reverence they once gave to him. She had used the dead man's key to expose their darkest secrets to each other, then offered herself as the only one who could keep them all safe. She didn't just take his seat, she had redesigned the entire power structure while he was busy finding himself in her arms. Vikram slammed a hand on the table, shouting, "I built this. You are nothing without me." Anya didn't flinch. She slowly leaned forward, sliding a tablet across the table. It displayed a video, not of business meetings, but of Vikram in his most vulnerable moments, weeping about his past, confessing his deepest fears and the illegal methods he used to crush his early rivals. "You didn't build an empire, Vikram," she said, her voice like ice cutting through silk. "You built a cage of secrets. I just opened the door and let the world see the animal inside. You didn't give me your love, you gave me your confession. And in this city, a confession is worth more than $1 billion stock." This is identity deconstruction. In psychology, a person's sense of self is often tied to their external status and power. By stripping Vikram of his company and his secrets simultaneously, Anya induced psychological castration. She proved that his entire persona as an apex predator was a fragile mask. By weaponizing his vulnerability, she ensured that he couldn't even flee with his dignity. He was no longer a fallen king, he was a documented fraud. Anya utilized operant conditioning. She rewarded his vulnerability with fake intimacy until the behavior became his total undoing. Law 45 of the 48 Laws of Power states, preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. Anya ignored the preaching and went straight for the total reform of Vikram's life. The lesson for you? Never confuse vulnerability with bonding. To an apex predator, vulnerability is a tactical opening, not a bridge to a soul. If you feel the need to unburden yourself to someone, hire a therapist with a non-disclosure agreement, never a partner with an appetite for power. Once you show someone the cracks in your armor, they will never see the armor again, they will only see the target. Part 6. The Ghost of Acquisitions Past. The past is not a memory, it is a ghost with a long memory and a sharp blade. You think you buried your sins under a mountain of gold, but those sins have been growing, learning, and waiting for the right moment to reclaim everything. Today, we reveal the karmic debt. The moment the apex predator realizes that the woman in his bed was the daughter of the man he destroyed 20 years ago. As Vikram sat shattered in the boardroom, watching his empire operate under a new master, he finally asked the question that had been burning in his throat. Who are you? Truly? Anya didn't answer immediately. She walked over to the large window overlooking the Mumbai skyline, the very city Vikram thought he had conquered. She pulled a small, tarnished silver locket from under her sharp suit, an item that looked completely out of place in this high-tech world of billions. "Do you remember Aryan Industries?" she asked, her voice reflecting the cold steel of the city below. Vikram froze. Aryan Industries was his first major kill 20 years ago. He had used a brutal, illegal short-selling tactic to bankrupt the company, driving its founder to take his own life. It was the foundation stone of Vikram's current skyscraper. "The man you destroyed wasn't just a competitor," Anya continued, turning to face him with eyes that held 2 decades of calculated hatred. "He was a father who believed in Law 1, never outshine the master. He was humble, he was kind, and you crushed him because his kindness made you feel small." Anya was the little girl who watched from the shadows as the movers took their furniture. The girl who watched her father's spirit break before his heart did. She hadn't spent 20 years grieving, she had spent 20 years studying him. She learned his patterns, his fears, and most importantly, his hidden craving for the very peace he had stolen from her family. Vikram tried to speak, to offer money, to negotiate, but Anya raised a hand. "I didn't come for your money, Vikram, I already have that. I came to show you the Siren's Illusion in full. You thought I was your sanctuary? No, I was your mirror. Every moment of peace I gave you was a reflection of the peace my father lost. I didn't love you. I became the version of a woman you would love so that you would lower your guard. I performed a 20-year play for an audience of 1. And now, the curtain falls." She pressed a button on the table, and the digital screens in the room began broadcasting the dead man's key data directly to the national news. She wasn't just taking the company, she was ensuring he could never build another. This is long-term emotional simulation. Anya utilized a form of method acting applied to real-life manipulation. By anchoring her hatred into a persona of love, she created a psychological, cognitive dissonance in Vikram. He couldn't reconcile the woman who held him at night with the woman who bankrupted him at noon. This confusion is a powerful tool of paralysis. Anya also applied Law 15, crush your enemy totally. She knew that if she only took his money, he would fight back. By destroying his reputation and revealing his past, she erased his ability to ever be an apex predator again. Law 1 of the 48 laws of power is never outshine the master. But the hidden law 49 is never forget the dead. The people you crush on your way up don't disappear. They become the soil from which your eventual downfall grows. If you build your empire on the bones of others, do not be surprised when those bones reach up to pull you down. Success without ethics is just a loan from destiny, and the interest rates of revenge are astronomical. Part 7. The Social Assassination. When an empire falls, the noise isn't made by the stones hitting the ground, it's made by the laughter of the people who used to bow to you. To destroy a man completely, you must not only take his future but poison his past. Today, we examine the social assassination, the moment the apex predator realizes that without his crown, he is not just a commoner, but a pariah. The news broadcast Anya initiated was a digital wildfire. Within hours, Vikram's phone, once a gateway to global power, became a source of radioactive hate. The dead man's key didn't just expose his crimes, it exposed the names of every politician, judge, and police chief he had ever bribed. Anya hadn't just attacked Vikram, she had set fire to the entire ecosystem that protected him. Vikram walked out of the boardroom, expecting to at least find his driver waiting. Instead, he found his luxury car being towed, and his chauffeur of 15 years simply handed him a bus ticket without looking him in the eye. He tried to call his close friends, the elite of Mumbai's social circle. Every call went to voicemail, or worse, was answered by assistants who told him never to call again. He was witnessing Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Yesterday, he was the sun they orbited. Today, he was a black hole that threatened to swallow their reputations. Anya had understood the psychology of the pack. She knew that a predator is only respected as long as he can provide or threaten. By leaking the ledger, she removed his ability to provide and made him too toxic to even be a threat. He was socially dead before he even reached the lobby. Desperate, Vikram retreated to a hidden safe house he had kept for emergencies, a small apartment in a crowded district of Old Delhi. Far from the skyscrapers, he believed no one knew about it. But when he opened the door, he found the lights already on. Anya was there, sitting on a simple wooden chair, holding a physical file. It contained the land deeds to the very slums he had cleared to build his first mall. "You thought this was your secret exit?" she whispered. "I bought this building 6 months ago through a shell company. You aren't hiding, Vikram. You were just living in a room I own." She didn't call the police. She simply left the door open, knowing that the people he had displaced were already gathering outside, alerted by an anonymous tip. This is learned helplessness. In psychology, when a person realizes that none of their actions can change a negative outcome, they stop trying. By showing Vikram that even his most secret, safe spaces were under her control, Anya broke his remaining will to fight. She utilized the scapegoat mechanism by exposing the corrupt system. She made Vikram the face of all the city's problems. The public's anger was channeled entirely toward him, acting as a shield for Anya as she took over the empire. Law 10 of the 48 Laws of Power is brutal. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. When you fall, do not expect your circle to catch you. Most people are not loyal to you. They are loyal to the benefits you provide. If you build your social life on power alone, you will be surprised by how quickly the room empties when the lights go out. Build a legacy of genuine loyalty, or be prepared to face the cold alone. Part 8. The Mirage of Revenge. What is the most dangerous state of a predator? It is not when he is hungry, it is when he is desperate. When a man has lost his kingdom, his reputation, and his sanctuary, he becomes a suicide bomber of his own ego. Today, we witness the mirage of revenge, the moment the fallen king realizes that his last desperate strike was exactly what his enemy wanted him to do. Trapped in the old Delhi safe house with a literal mob gathering outside, Vikram's mind snapped back into its primal state. He didn't want the money anymore, he wanted Anya's blood. He remembered a hidden compartment in the floorboards, containing a silenced pistol and a satellite phone that bypassed all local networks. This was his Law 35, master the art of timing, backup. He waited until the dead of night, slipped out through a forgotten service tunnel, and headed toward Anya's new headquarters. He believed he was the hunter again. He bypassed the security using codes he thought were still secret, moving like a shadow through the corridors he once owned. He reached the executive floor and burst into the office, weapon raised. Anya was there, but she wasn't hiding. She was standing by the window, her back turned, looking at the city. "I knew you'd come, Vikram," she said, without turning around. "An apex predator can't stand to be a footnote. You had to be the one to end the story." Vikram aimed the gun at her head, his finger trembling on the trigger. But then, he noticed something on the mahogany desk, a live stream camera. She wasn't just waiting for him, she was broadcasting to the world. She had set the stage for him to commit the ultimate, irreversible act of self-destruction on camera. If he pulled the trigger, he wouldn't be a martyr, he would be a common murderer. Caught in high definition, proving every lie she told about his violent, unstable nature to be true. "Go ahead," Anya whispered, finally turning to face him. Her eyes weren't filled with fear, but with a cold, hollow pity. "Kill me, and you finish my work. You become the monster the newspapers say you are. You spend the rest of your life in a cell, while I become a saint in the eyes of the public. I've already signed the papers to donate half of your empire to the victims of your past acquisitions. If I die now, I'm a legend. If you live, you're just a ghost." Vikram looked at the camera, then at Anya. He realized the most terrifying truth of all. She had weaponized his own rage against him. Every move he made, even his revenge, was a script she had written months ago. This is the narcissistic trap. Anya understood that a man like Vikram cannot handle being insignificant. By provoking his anger, she controlled his actions. In psychology, this is called reactive abuse, where the manipulator pushes the victim to a breaking point so that the victim's reaction can be used as proof of their instability. Anya used Law 31, control the options. She gave Vikram the choice to kill her or leave, but both options led to his total defeat. She turned his last remaining asset, his physical strength, into his greatest liability. Law 31 of the 48 Laws of Power is, control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. When you are at your lowest, your anger is your worst advisor. It makes you predictable. The person who can make you angry is the person who can control you. If you react to your enemy's provocation, you are still their puppet. Sometimes, the only way to win is to refuse to play the role they have cast for you. Silence and disappearance are often more powerful than a desperate, noisy strike. Part 9. The Ghost in the Mirror. What happens when a predator loses his teeth, his territory, and his name? He doesn't become a victim, he becomes a ghost. The most painful realization is not that you were defeated, but that you were never truly in control of your own heart. Today, we explore the identity void, the final stage of emotional destruction where the hunter is forced to look into a mirror and see only a hollow shell. Vikram lowered the gun. The weight of the metal felt like 1,000 pounds of useless iron. He looked at Anya, then at the camera, then at his own reflection in the darkened office window. He didn't recognize the man staring back. The sharp, obsidian-eyed titan of Mumbai was gone. In his place stood a disheveled, broken middle-aged man whose only remaining power was a trembling finger on a trigger that led to nowhere. He realized that pulling the trigger wouldn't just end Anya's life. It would fulfill the final prophecy of his own obsolescence. Anya walked past him as if he were furniture. She sat at the mahogany desk and began typing, her movements rhythmic and calm. "You can leave now, Vikram," she said, without looking up. "The security codes have been changed. The police are on their way. But not for me. They are coming to collect the evidence of your illegal break-in and attempted assault. You are no longer a player in this game. You are just a noise in the background." Vikram realized then that he was truly Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Anya wasn't even angry anymore. She was simply indifferent. Her revenge was so complete that she didn't even feel the need to see him suffer. To her, he had already ceased to exist. Vikram stumbled out of the building. The gun left on the floor like a discarded toy. He wandered into the neon-lit streets of Mumbai, a city that used to tremble at his name. He walked past giant digital billboards displaying Anya's face, the new face of empathetic capitalism. She was being hailed as a visionary hero. Then, he saw a news scroll at the bottom of a screen. Vikram's empire restructured. Assets transferred to the Aryan Foundation. The foundation named after the man he destroyed. Every dollar he had bled for, every soul he had crushed to build his mountain, was now being used to heal the very people he had hurt. His life's work hadn't just been stolen, it had been inverted. He was the architect of his enemy's ultimate victory. This is the erasure of legacy. In psychological terms, Vikram is experiencing ego death. His entire self-worth was built on his ability to dominate. By turning his assets into a force for good, Anya didn't just take his money, she invalidated his entire existence. She utilized Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aimed for, in victory. Learn when to stop. She didn't need to kill him. By letting him live in a world where his name is synonymous with failure and her name with virtue, she ensured a much slower, more agonizing psychological demise. Law 36 of the 48 Laws of Power teaches us that if you cannot have something, you should show disdain for it. But Anya showed us the inverse. If you want to destroy someone, make them irrelevant. The opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. When you let an enemy live but strip them of their ability to affect the world, you create a living ghost. Never build an identity solely on external power. Because when that power is taken, there will be nothing left inside to hold you up. Part 10. The Judicial Noose. The law is not a shield for the innocent, it is a sword for the one who knows how to swing it. You think the truth will set you free? In the world of high power, the truth is just another piece of data to be encrypted or leaked. Today, we reveal the judicial noose, how Anya used the very corruption Vikram created to ensure he could never take a breath of free air again. As Vikram wandered the streets, he expected the police to arrest him for the break-in at the office. But as the sirens approached, they didn't lead to a simple assault charge. Anya had been playing Law 38, think as you like but behave like others. While she played the role of the devoted lover, she was meticulously organizing the dead man's key into a legal masterpiece. She hadn't just leaked it to the press, she had delivered a curated, clean version to a special task force she had secretly funded through a series of non-profits. The police didn't just handcuff Vikram. They read him a list of charges that spanned 2 decades: money laundering, corporate espionage, and conspiracy to commit murder. Anya had ensured that every bribe Vikram ever paid was now documented as a unilateral act of corruption by him alone. The politicians he had fed for years were the first to sign his arrest warrants to save their own skins. Anya had applied Law 26, keep your hands clean. She didn't appear in the courtroom as an accuser. She appeared as a key witness for the people. A woman who had risked her life to gather evidence against a monster. The public saw a hero. The legal system saw a savior. Vikram saw the walls of his own greed closing in to form a cell. During the first bail hearing, Vikram's high-priced lawyers, the ones he thought were the best in India, stood up and recused themselves. They cited conflict of interest. He soon found out why. Anya's new conglomerate had acquired their entire law firm weeks ago. He was assigned a public defender, a young, overworked lawyer who could barely remember his name. As Vikram sat in the holding cell, a guard handed him a small, tattered silver locket, the same one Anya had shown him in the boardroom. Inside was a micro SD card. When he looked at the label, it simply said, "The price of a father's breath." It wasn't evidence, it was a recording of his own heartbeat from the night he thought he was in love. She had recorded his most intimate moments not for pleasure, but to analyze his stress levels for the interrogation he was about to face. This is institutional entrapment. Anya didn't just destroy Vikram's mind, she weaponized the entire social and legal infrastructure against him. In psychology, this creates total environment control. Vikram no longer had a single out. Every system he once manipulated, the law, the media, the lawyers, was now owned or influenced by his enemy. Anya utilized the halo effect by positioning herself as a philanthropist and whistleblower. She became beyond reproach. No one would listen to Vikram's claims of manipulation because his character had been thoroughly assassinated by the data she provided. Law 26 of the 48 Laws of Power is, keep your hands clean. The ultimate way to destroy an enemy is to let the system do it for you. If you are the one holding the knife, you are a criminal. If you get the law to hold the knife, you are a patriot. Never underestimate the power of a victim who has the patience to document your sins. In the digital age, your past is not a memory, it is a permanent record waiting for the right person to hit send. Part 11. The Mercy of a Ghost. What is the cruelest form of mercy? It is not death, and it is not forgiveness. It is letting your enemy live while forcing them to watch you build a paradise on the ruins of their nightmare. Today, we explore the execution of hope, the moment the apex predator realizes that his life is no longer a tragedy, but a comedy written by the woman he thought he owned. 6 months into his life sentence, Vikram sat in a dimly lit visitation room. The walls were gray. The air smelled of bleach and despair. He had lost 50 pounds. His eyes, once sharp enough to cut through boardroom resistance, were now dull and hollow. Then, the heavy steel door opened. Anya walked in. She didn't look like a CEO, she looked like a queen. She wore a simple white sari, a symbol of purity and mourning in India, but around her neck was the silver locket. She didn't sit down, she simply handed him a small, glossy magazine. It was the annual report of the Aryan Foundation. On the cover was a photo of the very slum Vikram had destroyed, now transformed into a state-of-the-art school and hospital. The children there are learning your name today, Vikram, she said softly, but not as a tycoon. They are learning your name as the anonymous donor who sacrificed everything to atone for his sins. I've rewritten your biography. In the eyes of history, you are no longer a villain, you are a pathetic, repentant fool who gave me his power because he couldn't handle the guilt. She had applied Law 25. Recreate yourself, not just to her own life, but to his. She had stolen the only thing he had left in that cell, his pride in being a great monster. Vikram lunged at the glass partition, screaming, "I hate you, I will kill you." Anya didn't even flinch. She leaned in closer, her voice a terrifying whisper that bypassed the intercom. "Hate is a luxury for those who still matter. Vikram, I don't hate you, I don't even think about you. I came here today to tell you that this is the last time anyone will ever say your name to your face. From this moment on, you are prisoner 4082. Anya is the name the world knows. Your empire is my monument. Your secrets are my leverage. You are not my enemy anymore, you are my footstool. She turned to leave, but stopped at the door. Oh, and the locket? It's empty. I deleted the files months ago. I didn't need them to destroy you. I only needed you to believe I had them. You defeated yourself. This is existential erasure. Anya utilized a technique called moral reframing. By turning Vikram's ill-gotten gains into a public good, she stripped him of the glory of his ruthlessness. In psychology, an apex predator's ego is fed by being feared. By turning him into a repentant fool, Anya replaced fear with pity, the one emotion a narcissist cannot survive. She used Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes by changing the shoes entirely. She didn't just take his place, she changed the definition of greatness so that he could never fit it again. Law 25 of the 48 Laws of Power says, recreate yourself. But remember, if you don't create your own image, your enemies will do it for you. The ultimate defeat is not losing your life, it is losing the right to tell your own story. Anya's final strike was not taking his freedom, but taking his why. If you live for power, and that power is used to mock you, your existence becomes a living hell. Build your character on something deeper than what can be stolen, or you will end up as a footnote in someone else's victory speech. Part 12. The New Dawn of the Siren, the final chapter. The cycle of power never truly ends, it only changes faces. When the old lion is cast out, the world celebrates the new queen, forgetting that the same ruthlessness that built the nightmare is often hidden behind the smile of the savior. Today, we conclude the Siren's empire, the final revelation that in the game of power, there are no heroes, only architects who are better at hiding their blueprints. A year passed. Vikram, or prisoner 4082, died in obscurity within the prison walls. There were no headlines, no state funerals, and no tears. His name had been effectively erased from the memory of Mumbai, replaced by the omnipresent branding of the Anya Global Initiative. Anya had achieved the impossible. She had taken the blood-stained wealth of a tyrant and laundered it into a reputation of saintly virtue. She was now the most powerful woman in the East, a symbol of hope for millions. In the final scene of our story, Anya stands on the same rooftop where Vikram once stood, looking over the city at dawn. But she isn't alone. Standing beside her is a young, ambitious protege, a brilliant girl she rescued from an orphanage. Anya is teaching her the same lessons she used to dismantle Vikram. She isn't teaching her how to love, she is teaching her how to simulate it. She is teaching her that emotional dependence is the ultimate leverage. The world thinks I saved them, Anya whispers to the girl. But I didn't save them. I simply changed who they were dependent on. Vikram used fear. I use hope. Hope is a much more effective chain. Anya has become the ultimate apex predator, one who is loved by the very people she dominates. As the sun rises, Anya opens the silver locket one last time. She doesn't look at a photo of her father. Inside is a tiny, mirrored surface. She looks at her own reflection and smiles. The smile doesn't reach her eyes. She realizes that to defeat the monster, she had to become a much more sophisticated version of it. The Siren's Illusion was so perfect that she has even convinced herself that she did it all for justice. But as she closes the locket, the sound is a cold, metallic click, the same sound of a vault locking forever. She didn't just win the empire, she became the prison. This is the Machiavellian paradox. Anya utilized Law 48, assume formlessness. By taking on the persona of a saint, she became untouchable. In psychology, this is dark altruism, using good deeds as a strategic cloak for absolute control. She understood that people will fight against a tyrant, Vikram, but will surrender willingly to a mother figure, Anya. Her power is now absolute because it is voluntary. The protege represents the cycle of trauma, where the victim becomes the victimizer, ensuring that the dark wisdom of Chanakya lives on in a new, more dangerous form. Law 48 of the 48 Laws of Power tells us to be formless like water. Anya's final lesson is the most chilling. the most dangerous person is not the one who threatens to break your bones, but the one who promises to heal your soul. When you find a perfect savior who demands your total emotional trust, look closely at the shadows they cast. Real power doesn't need to shout. It whispers in the form of a gift you can never repay. Vikram thought he was the master of the game, but he forgot one thing. In the world of power, the person who cares the least wins. Anya didn't just take his empire, she took his soul by giving him exactly what he wanted, a sanctuary that turned out to be a cage. If this story opened your eyes to the darker side of human psychology, don't let it be the last thing you learn. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to join our elite circle of strategists. We decode the hidden laws of power that they don't teach in business schools. Comment below. Do you think Anya was a hero seeking justice, or just a smarter version of the monster she destroyed? We read every comment. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this warning before it's too late. Remember, trust is a luxury, but silence is a weapon. Master both, or be mastered by them. Thank you for watching. Stay sharp, stay ruthless. We will see you in the next deep dive into the shadows of power. Goodbye.